The NFL is broken, and we all know it. Since the draft was implemented and the top pick goes to the team that did the worst the prior year, teams are now incentivized to lose, but not make it obvious. Losing on purpose is against the rules. But these next NFL teams are some tanking ass bitches. They all had opportunities to win games and purposely snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And they ought to be investigated. Since the NFL won't do it, that's what we're gonna do. Are you single? It's never been more difficult to grocery shop, as it seems like none of the portions you can buy are made for just one person. I don't need all that lettuce. So this holiday season, take care of yourself. Factor meals are delicious, healthy, fresh, never frozen, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals that are ready to eat in 2 minutes. And they are designed to be cost-effective and nutritious for just one person. With popular options like keto, protein plus, or veggie, Factor makes meal prep and diets aligned to your goals super easy. My goal is to get my grocery spending down, and if you do the math with all the food you waste or overbuy, Factor makes sense. There are 35 plus meals to choose from every week with over 60 add-on options, and all the food is good. And check out these new 100% plant-based cold brew latte protein shakes. Not only do they have 18 grams of protein, but they're also caffeinated. So after this video, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 55points to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. Again, that's factor75.com from the link below and use code 55points to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. The Tennessee Titans. When the season started, the Titans were looking to improve on last year's 6-11 record. And 3 games into the season, their tank was dusted off and unleashed. After they benched starting QB Will Levis for Mason Rudolph, the meme god was brought back, and they almost messed things up by beating the Strouds in week 11. That win must have been personal. Back then, they weren't making things so obvious until they faced the Jags, the 2-time Tank Bowl champions. Well, the Titans would have none of that. The fuck if a team is gonna celebrate a loss on their field? After jumping out to a huge 6-point lead, the Titans laid down like your mom in a Motel 6 in the fourth quarter, giving up a late TD to Tank Bigsby. Following that score, they accidentally drove down to the Jags 9 and then 4-and-outed faster than Travis Hunter's 40 time. But still, somehow, the game wasn't over. Despite this buffoonery, the Jags are also looking for a top pick, so they 3-and-outed and punted, just daring the Titans to take the horrific W. Nope, 4-and-out again. The tanking solidified with a false start so beautifully executed, the 76ers shed a tear.
It's beautiful, man!
With that loss, the Titans were both eliminated from the playoffs and moved into the 6th slot in the 2025 draft. Criminal levels of tanking right there. But at the start of the year, this next team didn't expect to find themselves intentionally gunning for a top 5 pick. However, here they are, the New York Jets. The Jets came into the 2024 season with a lot of expectations, and those quickly vanished into the darkness like Aaron Rodgers with a pocket full of shrooms headed into the forest. After firing their coach and GM, Aaron Rodgers lost his fastball like Henry in Rookie of the Year, and there would be no happy ending.
Swinging the ball, Triddle, right field, Freeland back, at the wall, out of here!
The Jets set their tank in motion with some questionable decision-making, criminal levels of losing games. Against the Colts, they found a way to lose despite being up 5 with 2:41 left in the game, but allowed AR to score a TD with 46 seconds left. Then Rodgers got sacked 2 times in their comeback attempt. Against the Seahawks, they jumped out to a 14-point lead, but that's not kosher, and Aaron Rodgers understood the assignment and gave up a thick 6, and the defense did the rest in allowing another 13 unanswered points. Not tanking, you say? The next week was a masterful performance, as it looked like they would beat the division rival Dolphins when they took a 26 to 23 point lead with 52 seconds left. The Finns, with no timeouts, got a nice kick return and picked up 20 easy yards to tie it in regulation and then subsequently win it in OT. Damn, that is some tanking ass shit right there. Someone call Hank Schrader.
You got me.
The Jets have lost 4 in a row and they have moved into the 7th spot in the draft. Of course, they won't take a QB. They will do whatever Rodgers tells them to do. But let's look at this next team that is putting on a show that is actually believable to the naked eye. The Carolina Panthers. If any team is on criminal levels of tanking, it's the shady-ass Panthers, whose tumultuous season seems to be careening towards another top draft pick where they surely will fuck it up. Look, benching Bryce Young was the right move, but it's got to be irritating for David Tepper that his head coach is making him sweat out all of these losses. After scoring 11 unanswered points to the Chiefs and tying the game at 27 late, both Las Vegas, the city, and the team were relieved when they let a Chiefs field goal sail through the uprights with 0 seconds on the clock. The refs also assisted because Chiefs. The next week against the Bucks, the Panthers once again sold us as a competitive team, taking a 23-20 late fourth quarter lead after an Adam Thielen TD with a surprisingly clean gritty. Adam might not have gotten the assignment correct, but Chuba Hubbard knows how to follow orders, the criminal that he is. After allowing a field goal to let the Bucks tie the game in OT, are you feeling it now? Mr. Krabs made a spectacular one-handed catch, setting up a potential game-winning field goal. Until the next play, they fucked the ball with no lube and handed it right back to the Bucks. Why did you even need to run the ball there? This is such purposeful losing, you cannot even begin to describe how scripted and disingenuous it looks. The Bucks gladly took the win and kept their playoff hopes alive, while the Panthers kept moving towards their goal of another #1 overall pick. Probably a QB, LOL. Oh, we're not done. The following week, the Panthers played the Eagles tough again, but win probability wasn't buying their bullshit, even after taking a 16-14 lead. The Panthers are sitting at the #4 overall pick and might win another game or two to not make what they're doing so fucking obvious. Back to the Panthers in a little bit. I have 2 more teams that need to be investigated. The Las Vegas Raiders. Oh boy, when I say a team is tanking at criminal levels, this squad takes the cake. The Raiders have lost 9 straight games and not even pretending to be headed towards the Tank Bowl championship like Thelma and Louise off a freaking cliff. To be fair to the Raiders, they started the season with no expectations, and after shocking the Ravens in week 2, realized that was enough, pretending to keep the feds off their back and start losing on purpose like only a team from the most rigged city on earth could do. No more evident of that was in week 13 when the Raiders almost forgot what their goal was and looked like they would beat the Chiefs in a shocking upset. They had a secret weapon, kicker Daniel Carlson. After not 1, not 2, but 3 missed field goals, Carlson was on the sidelines ready to miss his 4th kick of the day when called upon, but Aiden O'Connell said, "Brother, let me take the heat for you on this one." And
Field goal from here. Drops it.
this is criminal here. How do you just miss the snap like that and hand the win over to the Chiefs? I get that Carlson was gonna miss anyways, but I haven't seen such intentional losing like this since the Democrats carted out Mike Dukakis. And to the Chiefs of all teams. Now, before we get to our last NFL team that should be investigated, quick shout out to the Browns who signed Kadarius Toney and then let him return punts, one of which he muffed and clinched the game for the Steelers, and they're very, very real bullshit. However, speaking of giant failures, the New York Giants. Remember, I said I would come back to the Panthers? Well, if it wasn't for a team that wanted that #1 overall pick worse than them, maybe they would be sitting pretty in that top spot. Enter the New York Football Giants, who have taken criminal tanking to a level even the security team assigned to Epstein's jail cell couldn't ignore. It was week 11 and the US was punishing Germany for, all those things they did by exporting 2 terrible football teams to their country. The Giants tied it up late when kicker Graham Gano was resurrected from the morgue and hit a 42-yarder to force overtime. But the tank was so strong, though, even promising rookie Tyrone Tracy was in on it. John Merrill radioed in like he was on a beachhead in Normandy and said, "You fumble that ball, Tracy, and you make it look real." And so he did, and the Panthers reluctantly took a win neither team wanted. But the Giants weren't done. Oh no, this sell job is so good, you can't make it up. They cut their starting QB while still owing him over $20 million. All of their best players have mysteriously gotten hurt, and the tank was outfitted with new QB Drew Lock after Tommy DeVito. And trust me, brother knows the drill. When the Giants faced the Saints in week 14, we didn't know if the Saints, who are in football hell, wanted this dub or not. But the G-men, well, they wanted to make that call easy for them. After starting 0 for 8 in passing attempts, Drew Lock nearly misunderstood his orders and tried fucking up the tank with his legs. Despite banners flying high over the stadium shouting out my second channel, the dumpster fire, the Giants found themselves in a position to tie and force overtime. Perhaps to further piss off their fans or maybe even get Malik Neighbors injured. As Graham Gano lined up to kick the game-tying field goal, he had only one thing on his mind: miss, like he has been all year. But oh no, the offensive line had to add a layer to that shit. Another blocked field goal. Seriously, losing like this takes tremendous skill and coordination, yet it's somehow more predictable than a rom-com where the big city lawyer ends up with a small town high school crush who is restoring the old inn. Nobody saw that coming. Man, y'all are some tanking ass bitches and you should be investigated. All that losing for the Giants, and they're still only at the number 2 overall pick. Someone call the FBI.